Imagine filing your VA claim in 2019, then finding medical notes from 2016 that show the same condition. That older date could mean years of back pay you didn't know you had. I'm Cameron Burrell, and on today's episode, we'll walk through how effective dates get set and what steps can protect an earlier start date.
Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast, where we help veterans and their families better understand the VA disability benefits process, one step at a time. I served in the U.S. Army. I run VetBiz Media, and I want this to be a practical, no-nonsense episode you can act on today.
Quick definition so we all use the same words. The effective date is the day VA uses to start your benefits and back pay.
The filing date is when the VA first receives your claim or a written notice that you're filing. The onset date is when you or your records show the condition began.
And new and material evidence is proof that wasn't before the rater before and could change a prior decision if it reasonably relates to the issue claimed.
So how does VA actually pick the effective date? Usually it's the date you filed, but there are key exceptions.
Notice to file earlier, continuous treatment, or new and material evidence can all change things.
A few examples of how that plays out. If you gave the VA a dated written notice that you intended to file, that notice can preserve an earlier effective date while you collect evidence. If your medical records show continuous treatment from an earlier time, that chain can support an earlier start. And if a prior claim was denied, but you later provide new and material evidence, reopening can reset the timeline.
Keep any dated notice where you told VA you intended to file. Put it at the front of your folder.
Now, for the practical steps you can take right away to preserve or pursue an earlier date.
First, timestamp and collect everything. Medical notes, ER records, imaging reports, prescriptions, even messages or emails that reference the condition with a date. Put the earliest documents up front.
Second, continuous treatment matters. VA looks for a chain: diagnosis, follow-ups, prescriptions, referrals. It doesn't require a note every month, but a pattern helps a lot.
I've seen a veteran who only had a few PT notes over 2 years, but when those notes were laid out in order, it painted a clear continuity the rater could follow.
Third, service records and personnel files can be gold. Separation exams, in-service treatment records, and incident reports often show onset or early symptoms. Pull your DD-214 and your service treatment records and compare dates to your civilian care.
Fourth, reopening with new and material evidence is an option, but it has rules. If you find medical evidence or a provider statement that wasn't in the original file and it reasonably relates to the claim, that can support reopening and potentially an earlier effective date. Talk with an accredited VSO or representative about whether the evidence meets the standard.
What evidence carries weight? Dated medical treatment notes with diagnoses, imaging and lab reports, prescriptions, PT records, provider narratives describing when symptoms began, and personnel or incident reports from service.
Nexus statements can help when a provider links the condition to service or explains onset and continuity, but the language should be specific and dated. Ask your provider to describe symptom history in their own words if possible.
Organization is one of the easiest wins. Use a single timeline or simple spreadsheet with date, document type, source, and one-line summary. Name files like 2016-08-12 ER note, shoulder injury, .pdf, so everything is obvious at a glance.
When you submit evidence, include a one-page cover sheet that points the rater to the earliest relevant dates and how the documents connect. That one-page summary reduces friction and helps prevent key items getting overlooked.
Simple tracking tools work. A calendar with color-coded entries, an evidence log, and a short narrative timeline. Even a notebook of dated notes about calls to VA, requests, and receipts can help. Common pitfalls that cost earlier dates: assuming a phone call counts as notice, gaps in treatment with no explanation, undated notes, and failing to request service records early. If you call VA, follow up in writing and keep a copy. Before we close,
One concrete action you can take right now. Create a one-page timeline listing the earliest date you remember symptoms, the earliest treatment record you can find, and the date you first contacted VA or filed a claim. Save that page as timeline-earliest-evidence.pdf and put it at the front of your evidence folder.
Quick recap. Effective dates matter because they determine when benefits start and how much back pay you might get. Filing dates, onset evidence, continuous treatment, service records, and new and material evidence are all levers that can affect the date.
I can't give legal or medical advice here, and nothing I say guarantees a specific outcome. Every claim is different, so verify current rules with official VA resources and consult a VA-accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney for complicated situations.
Thank you for listening. If you found today's episode helpful, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran who could benefit. Download your free 7-step veteran benefits reset guide at vetbizmedia.com/veterans7. And remember, your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Take the next responsible step.